Hey everybody, it's Daniel here from InfoVest. Hope you're all doing well. So we gotta talk about the Canadian jobs data that just came out today. It came out worse than expected, right? We got numbers coming out in negative territory saying that there was a job loss for Canada in this monthly report. Now, what am I talking about here? I'm going to read a couple of things here from Stats Canada website highlighting the employment report. So it says here employment was virtually unchanged, saying minus 0.0%, but in actual terms, if you put it in a number to it, it was negative 1,400 in June. So there's about 1,400 jobs that were lost in June, and the employment rate fell about 0.2 percentage points to 61.1%. The unemployment rate, okay, I talked about this previously on my channel, increased 0.2 percentage points to 6.4% in June and has risen 1.3 percentage points since April 2023. Okay, that's a big thing there. We saw the unemployment rate in Canada over the year increase from 5% to 6.4% now. And that number is steadily rising and rising and rising. I want you to go and check out the unemployment rate for Canada and look at the history of what happens when you get this rise, this steady rise, and especially a percent or higher, right? When we tend to see that, when we see the unemployment rate creep up and go higher, it tends to correlate with recessions. We could see an upcoming recession in Canada sooner than other countries out there like the US. The US also had its jobs report come out as well, better than expected. Yes, the unemployment rate in the US also ticked up higher. It's ticking up slowly, but not as bad as Canada. Now, in June, employment fell among young men aged between 15 to 24, while it increased for core-aged women aged 25 to 54. There were declines in the number of people working in transportation and warehousing, as well as public administration. It's very interesting, right? We're bringing in a lot of immigrants into the country. You wonder, okay, now that you're here, aren't you out looking for a job? They are, but having a tough time to find jobs. And very interesting that the transportation industry, which is very important indicator as well to see how the economy is doing, seeing job losses in that area basically tells you that the economy is slowing, the demand for things are slowing. Same thing with warehousing, demand is slowing down. When we look at the total hours worked, they were down by 0.4% in June. A year-over-year basis, total hours worked up 1.1%. Average hourly wages among employees increased 5.4% in June on a year-over-year basis, following growth of 5.1% in May. So overall, the biggest takeaway that I want to mention here is that you've got the negative jobs report here from Canada, and you've got the unemployment rate ticking up quite drastically, slowly, quietly, but quite the move if you look at it from over a year, from 5% to 6.4%. When you also break down into on its website more of where are these jobs being lost, which area, and which ones saw kind of an increase. So the weakest area tends to be transportation, warehousing, like I said, information and culture and recreation, wholesale and retail trade, also in negative territory, professional, scientific, technical services, public administration, also negative, construction, right? Construction relating to the housing market, right? We heard about, the housing market. A lot of realtors come out, say that, hey, the housing market is going to boom this year because especially we got the rate cuts coming in. We just had a rate cut. Now things are going to do well. Well, just look at, some of the MLS websites. Look at the realtor.ca website. You're seeing listings grow and grow and grow. So you're seeing weakness in the construction industry, playing out also into the housing market. You've got also the utilities, also in negative territory in terms of jobs, business building, and other support services. Now, the ones that are doing good are accommodation and food services, agriculture, education services. Well, education services make sense, right? Because you got a lot of these students coming into the country, and they are going. What are they doing? They're getting educated, right? They're not going to go into the workforce right away because they got to build a skill and so forth. Even though some of them have finished their college program or what have you, they're still having a tough time to find a job out there. Manufacturing, little increase there as well. Finance, insurance, real estate, little increase there. Healthcare and social assistance, little increase there as well. So here's the thing, right? The biggest takeaway here is that we saw about 28% increase over the year of the unemployment rate. Okay, and you want to continue to monitor this and watch this. Now, on the other side of the border in the U.S., they're doing much better in terms of jobs. But what's going to be really key important here is that does this unemployment rate continue to tick up? Do we get to 6.5, 6.6, 6.8, 7%? And how quickly do we escalate in that number? Because if that number continues to get worse off and we see the jobs number month over month get worse off, then yes, you're going to get those rate cuts that everyone is expecting. But don't think, and just remember also, if you've been watching on this channel for quite some time, I've been saying this for quite some time, is that when you get the sudden rate cuts, especially the emergency ones, right? You might get one more, two more, let's say this year. And then when you get the sudden rate cuts later on, it's because something is breaking. There's a problem. There's an issue. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it here with the unemployment rate rising slowly. Now, in the U.S., we have a little bit of a tick up there, but if that number also continues to move up higher and aggressively, something breaks in the commercial real estate space as well, being in a market worth trillions and trillions of dollars, there can be cascading effect and spillover effects into Canada for sure, right? Geopolitical risk, election risk, etc., etc. You have inventory of real estate inventory increasing. So rate cuts can only work for so long. Eventually, as you look past in history, it has always led to some sort of major event, the recession and so on, right? Why hasn't it come yet? Why is it taking so long? There are many explanations, that we can get into: the money printing, the amount of stimulus checks that the government did and so forth. But we're starting to see it all show its true teeth now because the money is dried up. People are in trouble. The demand is slowing down. And most importantly, especially in Canada, a lot of mortgage renewals are coming due end of this year and next year as well. So with the rates where they are, even if you get 2 rate cuts, it doesn't really solve anything. Another thing to mention as well, the condo market. So yes, the real estate market, the single family homes, the homes that are $1 million plus and so on, completely dead, completely crickets, right? The condo market that are priced around 400, 500, 600K is also starting to show a rise in the inventory there as well, and partly due to the fears, partly due to the high interest rates, being qualified to get the mortgage, and most importantly are those condo fees, right? We still see inflation sticking around. We still have pain from inflation and prices, right? Although yes, prices have come down from its peak according to the CPI report, but it's still pinching a lot of people still today. Look at the grocery prices, food prices, shelter component, and so on. It's still elevated, right? And that doesn't make Bank of Canada or central banks out there to cut rates aggressively out of the blue. There's gotta be a reason. And like I said, going back to this jobs report, watch that unemployment rate. And then you'll see what I'm talking about in about a year's time or what have you. So anyways, let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment below, subscribe, hit the like button, bell icon to be notified on the next video, and I'll see you guys around. Cheers, and bye.